We're here today with Professor Rafael from the Technion. Thanks for taking the time to speak with us today, Rafael.
My pleasure, Jim.
Technion has been at the forefront of building sciences for many years. What is your goal for educating the construction industry on lean processes?
Lean construction is fairly new to the Israeli construction industry, and so we plan to hold an industry day where we'll have an introductory workshop to lean construction. In the broader sense, the Technion and we here in our faculty have been involved in research in lean construction for going on 10 years now. And we've tried to focus on a number of main areas and contribute in that way to the international understanding of lean construction. Our research is focused on working with buildings where there are a great deal of changes, where there's a great deal of variation in the design information. And so we've had collaborative projects with construction companies where we've tried to devise new ways of managing apartment construction. We have a game which we call the LeapCon game, which allows companies to practice using lean methods for apartment construction, especially where there are a number of client-initiated design changes in each apartment. We've also done a good deal of theoretical work about the behavior of contractors, and we've tried to explore using economic game theory why contractors often prefer or find a lose-lose situation to be a stable equilibrium, and find it very difficult in a project setting where they're working on unit price contracts to move to a win-win cooperative style of working. And so in various projects and research of that kind, we're also trying to do our bit to increase the general understanding of what lean construction is all about.
Based on the papers that will be presented at the conference, what should attendees expect to hear?
Well, we have quite a wide range of papers in the conference this year. We have 68 papers altogether that are being presented by a range of academics and people from industry from something like 25 different countries. We have very strong papers this year on theory, on production system design, on product development and design itself, on safety, quality. There are at least 9 papers on information technology. I think that what's unique about this year is that the editors have made a special effort to focus everyone's writing and reporting on both what their hypotheses are and what their proofs or ability to disprove what their hypotheses were from empirical evidence. We posed the question in the title of the conference to be lean construction, what do we think and what do we know? So most of the papers have posed a hypothesis and then set about to try to either prove or disprove what they think by providing the evidence. Most of that evidence comes from trials or from industry experience of applying lean principles on construction sites day by day.
Are there any papers that stand out from the pack?
Yeah, there are a few. There are 1 or 2 papers in the theory session which begin to tackle the question of what brings value to owners and to construction companies, which I think are important steps forward. There are very good papers on application of building information modeling in construction. There are papers that deal with how we can integrate BIM with lean, and indeed reports of application on very big projects that are very detailed and with a wealth of empirical evidence that really do show how it impacts. Those are both from the United States and from Scandinavia. And I think that those will be probably the highlights of the conference.
The worldwide economic climate for commercial construction is still depressed. Can lean construction still be deployed in this economy? And what does it take to make lean successful in a construction company?
Well, those are obviously very interrelated issues. I think that when an economy is tough, then it is exactly at that point that the benefits and the savings that one can accomplish by working lean become that much more important in ensuring that a construction company can have a positive profit margin rather than a negative one. We know that at the basis of application of lean, we're looking to reduce waste. And well, I guess it's not coincidental that the words coincide. In lean economic times, we can't afford the kinds of waste that we're used to in other economic times. And so when the amount of work available is smaller, then owners are looking for a better product at a better value. And those construction companies who are able to deliver that and still be profitable are going to be much more competitive than those who are not. It's perhaps a time of opportunity, and one where perhaps fear is an important motivator, unfortunately. It's not easy to apply lean, and it does require a great deal of commitment and concerted effort on the part of a company. It is a question of education and of changing people's mindset. That becomes, I would guess, a little easier to do when you feel that it is imperative to do it. It is also an opportunity to maintain people who are well-trained and who can continue, and to have fewer people who are perhaps not willing to change. The second part of your question was, what does it take to make lean construction successful in a company? And I guess here the two important ingredients are openness of mind and commitment to learning. So it does require a great deal of reading. It requires an understanding of the concepts, so that not only can you apply the techniques like Last Planner or design structure matrix or whatever the technique may be, but you can learn over time why they work and what aspects work best within your company and your context, and then apply them in creative ways. So while it's not easy and it is stressful to make any kind of change, and that is perhaps more difficult in lean economic times, it's perhaps those companies who make that commitment and are able to undergo those changes who will survive and flourish, not only in the lean times, but when times improve.
Lastly, how can people learn more about the International Lean Construction Conference?
Okay, the simplest way to do it, of course, is to go to our website. It's iglc18.technion.ac.il. And you can, of course, find the link to that also from the VICO website. You can also simply search on Google for IGLC 18.
Well, thanks for taking the time to speak with us again today, Rafael, and have a great conference.
My pleasure, and thank you very much. And I hope that some of you who are hearing this will be able to join us in Haifa, which will be very sunny. We promise a fun time, and of course, great education and learning. Thanks, Jim.